there, and welcome to the Fearless Artist Podcast, where we empower classical musicians to build their own thriving careers. I'm your host, Michelle Lynn, and together with Deanna Petre, we teach artists to conquer the entrepreneurial side of their careers and create the futures they want. We are two freelance classical musicians who have lived and worked in Europe for a decade, and together we started the Fearless Artist Mastermind, a coaching company created to teach classical musicians how to overcome fear and take action on building their dream careers. In each episode, we will explore the intersection of artistry and entrepreneurship, teaching you the fearless mindset with practical steps and strategies to build a sustainable career. Get ready to build your own artistic brand, find a supportive community of musicians so that you don't have to figure out everything alone, and earn a living that you deserve. We believe that you can be a thriving artist and not a starving one, and we are redefining what it means to be a classical musician in the modern era. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Fearless Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Lynn, and today I'm popping on for a short solo episode because I really wanted to share with you guys about the latest workshop that we did in our membership Fast Forward because it was amazing. It's called Vision and Vibes, and it was all about starting this year in a way that is sustainable and maybe a bit slower than what we're used to. I know for me personally, this year didn't start off with a bang, and it didn't start off with any vision boards, and it didn't start off with this huge surge of energy. In fact, I was a little bit drained, and so I had to kind of slow down and say, how can I be really intentional with my time and energy right now, because I don't have a lot of it. And I definitely wondered if I should be worried at some point, because I'm usually a pretty energetic person. But I decided to just kind of trust the ebb and the flow. And I know that's something that we talk a lot about as artists, that we have these surges and what do we do with that? You know, from anything from how busy your performance schedule is, it's completely packed. And then you might have a few weeks or months with nothing, all the way to our energy. You know, you might have a big surge and you get everything done. And then all of a sudden you're drained and you think there's something wrong with you. And I've learned that after every up comes a down. And so for me, that was just how this year started. And we crafted a workshop around that to help us get really intentional and to ask strategic questions to help you and us decide, where can I put my time and energy to make the maximum effect right now at the same time that I'm protecting myself from not going too hard and then burning out right at the beginning of the year. So Vision and Vibes is a workshop that we created with, of course, my co-founder, Deanna. And you guys know that she is a violist based in Minneapolis, and she was in Paris for 10 years. She has 3 littles, and she has a great blog for moms and musicians, or parents and musicians. So if you're a musician who has children, please go check out her blog. I think it is extremely valuable for all of you who are navigating this season of life. Okay, so moving on to the workshop recap. Vision advice: how to stop surviving your year and start designing it as a fearless artist. Of course, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably know who we are, but just to give a quick update, Fast Forward, our membership has now 60 people in it. It is so fun. The calls are vibrant and enthusiastic, and also the Slack channel in between the calls has been so beneficial for people because people are asking questions, asking advice, giving feedback, giving advice, sharing resources, just tapping into one another's motivation. Of course, there's the goal tracker, which was pretty much the whole point of Fast Forward in the first place, is to have somewhere to stop the crazy and evaluate where it is actually going on in your life as a freelance classical musician, and to evaluate what trajectory am I on, and am I happy with that? And if not, what tweaks do I need to make? So that alone is so beneficial to be part of the membership. Not even mentioning the group coaching calls where people have just been making real friendships and connecting. So yeah, we have over 60 in Fast Forward right now. We also have a mastermind, which I mentioned briefly on the last episode. And actually we had 2 people jump into the mastermind just from that one episode. So it shows how many people need the career strategy, the more intense, deep focus. It does include a one-on-one coaching call per month, as well as a small group of 4 to 5 people on a Zoom call once a month as well. And then in that program, the mastermind, we do a complete career overhaul strategy, your branding, your content, your social media strategy, your mailing list, your funnels. If you don't know what a funnel is, it's basically just how do you attract an audience and then bring them to where you want them to go? How do you create a fan base? How do you set goals? Applying for grants, releasing albums, crowdfunding. I mean, anything with any kind of intensity and depth is something that we talk a lot about in the mastermind. And I think coaching is so valuable because you have a place to sit and unpack all your thoughts. I know for me, I've been a long time coachee. I have a coach in Austin, Texas. She's a former flute player. And just a place to kind of go through what's going on and help me see the forest for the trees, because I know otherwise it can be so scattered. So actually, that's what today's episode is going to help us do as well. Give us some key questions to make us feel less scattered and confident going into this new year. All right, so topics to cover today: why your goals keep collapsing and why it has nothing to do with discipline, why more pushing isn't the answer and what actually creates clarity, and how to design a year that fits your life without burning yourself out. And of course, as you know, we're going to have some reflection questions and exercises. If you are listening to this, I really encourage you just hit pause and write down your thoughts as you go. Take some time with your journal, your morning coffee. If you're driving or in the shower, of course, take some time afterwards to really reflect and go deeper with these, because some of these questions for myself, just even being able to analyze what are some things that I can do right now to make sure I'm moving in the right direction, it just gives a lot more clarity and focus over the daily grind rather than becoming discouraged or not knowing how to trust the process. So first of all, why your goals keep collapsing. First of all, most goals fail because we don't take the time to connect them to what truly matters. So we don't create undistracted space in our calendars. Of course, you can say, I'm going to start writing or composing some songs. One of the girls in our mastermind just released an album of original piano pieces. So she came into the mastermind and she's like, I really need to be writing, but I just have no time. We're like, okay, great. Like, of course you can make time, but if you don't connect that to the deeper value of why am I composing? Why am I releasing music? Or maybe you have a method book that you want to write for your beginner students because you see they're all struggling with the same thing. If you don't understand the value and the meaning and the impact that it will make for an entire studio of your students, that doesn't give you the motivation that you need to actually block the time in your calendar. Because of course you can block the time. Like if we're excited about our goals, of course you'll wake up half an hour earlier, go to bed half an hour later, stop scrolling for an hour less per day to go work on the thing, right? But if you don't understand why it matters, I think that's where we can get hung up. And this is speaking to myself as well, because I've got a few projects in the back burner that I'm like, I need to get more serious about what the difference is and what the difference that this thing will make if I can create it. So goals without clarity feel disconnected, heavy, and overwhelming. So we end up overwhelmed, scattered, constantly catching up. I swear, like we talked so much in this workshop about being busy. And I shared with the group that we were on a live call. And I said, listen, I do not want to call you guys when you're 80 years old and say, what are you doing? And you tell me you're busy. Okay, we're not busy. We are building. Are we going to spend the rest of our lives being busy? Every time somebody asks you what you're doing, you just get, I'm so busy. I've got concerts and admin and students and gigs and traveling and I'm chasing trains and I'm tired. I'm busy. I'm so busy. No, we don't want to be busy. We want to be intentional. We want to be focused. We want to be knowing what our purpose is and who the people we are called to reach and the impact that we make, whether that's you teach your piano students in a way that no one else can. That is you being intentional with your time. And then you know why you're building your studio. Or you're the only person who's playing the repertoire in your concert the way that you do and speaking to the audience in the way that you do and bringing to them something of value. There's only one you. You're not replaceable. So you don't fail your goals because you lack effort or discipline, but because we never clarified why we are aiming for them in the first place. And we talk about this, if you're a fearless artist, if you're listening to this podcast, by the way, you are a fearless artist. You don't lack discipline, okay? Listen, you've put in your 10,000 hours. You've done the work. You've done the practicing. You've gone to your lessons. You might have a couple degrees. You've been on stage. I don't know how many times. You don't lack discipline. So if you're not getting something that you want, it's probably a lack of clarity, overwhelm, or maybe even discouragement. I do so many one-on-one coaching clients. I think I have around 20 to 30 a month now. And I mean, the amount of discouragement that people can get stuck under that is triggered by comparison or not seeing results fast enough, right? Because we want that instant, like, if I do this thing, will it work? If I post 3 times, will I get some new fans? Or if I start talking about what I am interested in or my projects, will I be able to get the grant money? Well, we can't answer that question for you, but we do know that if you're sitting around doing nothing, you're definitely not going to get it. So it's a matter of saying, you need to get clear on what you want. We need to make a strategy that's sustainable for you so that you're still going in 2, 3, 6 months. And then find the joy in that daily in and out, which is why I love the community so much in Fast Forward, because it's just so fun. Every morning I check Slack. There's always somebody's celebrating something. There's the wins channel where people are putting the things at work. If you got a pitch that went through and got the yes, or if you finally sent the application, or if you reached out to someone that was intimidating to you, like it's so good to have people around you who will celebrate what you're doing. Most musicians set their goals without really zooming out. So we set goals and we are already full. Your schedule's exploding. You don't have any room, but this is the year that I'm going to hit 20K on Instagram, right? We're constantly stressed, coming back to the always busy thing. We've got these shoulds. I should be farther ahead by now. I should have bigger stages by now. I should be playing for bigger audiences by now. I should be making more money by now. And other people's expectations. And that comes down to people who don't understand our careers and how hard it can be and inconsistent that it can be. And they're like, so what's next? When you tell them that you just did this really great concert and they're like, so what's next? And you're like, dude, give me a second to like process that I managed to pull this thing off. And then I'll maybe be able to think about like my schedule next week, right? Like if you want to trigger me, ask me what my schedule is. Like I can't, anyway, that's an aside. So we can't get frustrated that we're not sticking to goals that we set if we are already full. We already have these constraints. We're already at our max, and then we set these goals and then we get frustrated that we don't meet them. So more pushing is not the answer. Let's get clear on that. We're not going to sit here and tell you to beat yourself harder. By the way, as someone who has learned a lot about self-compassion in the last few years, I've also learned you will get better results if you are more kind with yourself, which for all of my perfectionists out there is totally counterintuitive because you think that speaking kindly to yourself means that you're weak. And you're like, that's okay, you didn't practice. You had a hard day, right? Like, no. Actually, showing yourself self-compassion is the antidote to shame, according to Brene Brown. If you don't know who that is, go look her up immediately. Watch her TED Talk. So you will get better results and you can love yourself well in the process. Isn't that great? I think that's great. So when we make goals and we don't reach them, most of us respond to this by trying to A, push harder, B, be more disciplined, C, stay up later, and D, we're going to figure it out. This is the year we're going to figure things out. We say that every year, but nothing changes. Why? Because the problem is not that we can't handle it. The problem is that we are too busy instead of building. So you don't need more pressure. You don't need more discipline. I mean, that's a caveat. Of course, you got to be like a little bit more strategic when you do have those focused hours, but we'll get to that. You don't need 5 new productivity apps and 16 new trackers and like all these solutions that are really just shiny distractions. And I would even argue that you don't need more hours in the day, because I think, slight hypothesis I have, that if we all had 26 hours in the day, I think we would still be in the same problem, because it's Parkinson's principle. Things take as long as you allow them to. So if we had 26 hours, we would probably still be just as busy and just as tired. Just a thought. So here's what's actually going to change things. We're going to connect our goals to our core values. We're going to have some direction before we start planning, just randomly planning, I mean. We're going to choose intentionally before we just start pushing, because we feel like if I'm busy, that means I'm doing something, which means I'm productive, which means I'm successful. Okay. So we're going to start by asking, what actually deserves my time and energy, and what do I actually want? And so now we're going to jump into how to design a year that fits your life by zooming out. So as you're listening to these questions, we're going to say, are you taking your real life into account? Are you taking your desires and dreams into account? Are you taking your capacity into account? I already mentioned at the beginning of this episode, there's a bunch of you who have kids. You cannot put the same demands and expectations on yourself if you're not sleeping through the night. Like, praise the Lord, I sleep through the night, okay? If Deanna shows up and she's tired, I'm like, I'm sorry, like I have so much compassion for you, and I can't relate. So, I have so much respect for you guys. Am I taking my season of life into account? Maybe you have a busy travel season. Maybe you have a few weeks off. Right now, I have 14 days off. No concerts. So I'm at home 2 weeks. I am like trying so hard to dig into routine, do my dailies, practice admin, gym, over and over on repeat. Like, no funny business, just get the grind going so that when I do have to get back on the road, I've got the foundation of solid work, the reps. I've done the reps. So with these questions, we want to design a year for the actual version of you and not an imaginary version of yourself who never gets tired or sick or overwhelmed. So let's talk a little bit about setting a good goal. And if you've been around TFA for longer than 10 seconds, you know that we talk all the time about SMART goals because they need to be specific. They need to be measurable. We're talking numbers. We're talking time. We're talking amount of reps. Make sure you can reasonably accomplish your goal within a certain time frame. My biggest flaw for so long, just making these huge goals that were out of reach, and I didn't have a reversed system to actually get there. I didn't map out the journey, the route. I was just like, I'm going there. It's like, all right, how are we getting there? I don't know, but we're going. Like, I've learned that is not a sustainable or healthy way, or a way that works for that matter. And by coaching is when I really had to learn to stop and like break it down into bite-sized steps and like, okay, how do I actually do this? Your goal needs to align with your values, and you need to set a realistic but ambitious date to clarify and increase motivation. We all know that there are many of us who work well under pressure. That's great. I think that's a great strategy. If you have a deadline tomorrow and you work your butt off until 1 a.m., I don't think that's a bad thing. I think you lit a fire under yourself, and that's what works, right? So you don't need to necessarily eliminate the last minute deadline pressure. We just need to be intentional about it. So 5 questions. Well, actually, we did them in phases on the workshop to help you plan your best year yet. First phase, reflection and reset exercise. So this is where you're going to take a quiet moment. Obviously, we'd love for you to journal this because you are more effective when you write things down. What worked well for you last year? What were your glimmers of joy? I'm talking about colleagues. I'm talking about concerts. I'm talking about students that lit you up, that you left a lesson and you were like, yes, I need 10 more kids like that. Who or what drained you? Where were your energy leaks? Was it updating your website? Was it that you never updated your website? Is it that you never got headshots and you keep getting asked to send your headshot because you're performing? Do you have a colleague that was giving you a really hard time? Do you have a boss or a director? And what do you want more of this year? So now that you know what worked well, what were your glimmers, moments of joy, what drained you, you can then say, hey, I want more of that. I want more of that good thing that happened. For me, obviously, the coaching I love so much. The fast forward calls have been really great. The workshops, connecting with people. But something that drains me is DMs. So DMing new people when they ask a lot of questions of what TFA is about, for example. So that's something that we've outsourced now completely to our staff. And if it requires a Michelle answer, then I get a little Asana task, if any of you use Asana. And it's like, hey, you need to answer that person. Okay, so here we go. Your true self. We're going to shift from I want to I am. I want to perform more. So this is an exercise that helps get your brain in that frame of mind of like, I am doing this. I am the thing. I am the person that I want to be. How do I need to act? How do I need to eat? How do I need to dress? How do I need to show up to be the person that I want to be? So we are shifting language from the wishes to outcomes that you can actually check off, like yes or no, right? Because then you know that you've accomplished it. Write 3 I am goals for the next 12 months. Make them measurable and tick offable. For example, I am performing a 50-minute solo program twice this season, not I want to perform more. Then the exercise, write 1 12-month goal. Does it describe a finished result that you could check off? If not, you need to sharpen it using the SMART goals method. Make it more specific or measurable. And then wherever you find that you tend to dilute your goals, like some of you know, I released my first album in November. And so it was like, oh, I should release an album this year. Like I probably said that or I should record. I should figure out how to get a manager. I should figure out how to get a label. I should find a printer for my CD. Yeah, those things didn't happen until I was like, okay, I am doing this. I have to decide. I don't know how I'm going to do it, and that scares me, but I am going to do it. So that means I need to get help and use the wise people in my life and my best friend ChatGPT to figure out where can I find what I need to get real and to make these things happen. Phase 2, let's get real. You guys got your notebooks out? I want to know that you're doing this. So send me a DM at the Fearless Artist Mastermind. Say, hey, Michelle, I'm working through the podcast. I'm on phase 2. Let's get real. We're going to turn goals into timelines that survive your real life. Remember, we are talking about adding buffer time for the real you, the one who gets sick, overwhelmed, and tired. Choose a 12-month goal. Work backwards. List the deadlines and artificial deadlines. As I was mentioning, when we have a deadline, sometimes we have a spurt of energy right at the end. So what you can do as a hack is give yourself artificial deadlines where you say, it doesn't actually have to get done. No one's going to call you if it's not finished on end of March, let's say. But on March 1st, if you can set a small goal and have an artificial deadline, then it will eliminate the panic at the end of March. This is why the mastermind is so great, because we have these 2-week goals within the mastermind where people are accountable. They come on the call and they say, this is what I said I was going to do. Here's how far I got. And when you have that call coming up and a small group of people who are going to be holding you accountable, it gives you a really great rush to get to do the thing that you said you wanted to do. As you are reverse engineering your 12-month goal, add 15% time padding and name the most likely interruptions. Illness, long rehearsals, unexpected gigs. One of the guys in Fast Forward was saying he had to take a gig around Christmas time and the rehearsal days were like 9-hour days and he wasn't playing the whole time, but he had to be there. So we had to talk a lot about that. Like, okay, how can you navigate this? You couldn't say no because you needed the cash, which is fine. All of us take those jobs. But is there a way that you can use that time effectively? Is there something specific you can get done during that time? Can you use it as a networking opportunity? Those kind of questions to help you see how I can take the most advantage of this situation. Okay, phase 3, your best work. Now, this is something we talk about all the time, is your best time to do certain things. There's a book called At Your Best by Carey Nieuwhof, Nieuwhof. He talks about your zones, green zone, orange zone, red zone. And so we can be productive at all those times, but in your green zone is when you're the most alert, full of energy. And so as musicians, I would recommend you save that time for your practicing or maybe your teaching. Orange zone, you could do something like admin, emails, pitching, updating your website, podcast interviews. The red zone would be where you are maybe cleaning your house or you're doing your DMs or something mindless that you're still productive, still a task that needs to get done, paying the bills, but it's not taking that precious green zone energy. So this question is saying you have 4 to 5 hours of green zone time per day. Block this time every working day. It's non-negotiable. And put your most important tasks in that zone. If you do this, you will find yourself being so much more effective. I have this great app, by the way, called Opal. Just got it. I paid for it because you don't have to, but it has this setting. It's a time blocking, social media, phone blocking app that you set to block certain apps at different times. And when you pay for the paid version, it automates it. So every day, my socials are blocked from 9 to 2. So what it means is I can wake up, I can check and see if there are any messages that came in that I want to answer, any funny comments I want to read to start the day off. And then boom, it's gone. I cannot scroll from 9 to 2. I'm out. And that has been so effective for me because it's not like every day of like, oh, should I do it or should I not? Like arguing with yourself. Oh, it's fine. I won't get distracted. And then I'm trying to practice and I grab my phone and start scrolling instead at 11 a.m. So this has been so great. And I really appreciate that. So ask yourself, what invades your time, your green zone time, and how can you defend it? And this is very strong language, but I think it's necessary to protect this green zone energy. So be specific. What gets in your way? Does your phone light up? Are you getting phone calls from people? If you still do that. Do people walk into your office? Are you in a school, a music school where people can just come in at any time and talk to you? How can you protect this green zone time? Phase 4 is showing up in the day-to-day, and I have not stopped thinking about this since we did the workshop. So this is called tasks versus to-dos and why people don't stick to what they said. So we don't want to make a to-do list, right? Because that can be really overwhelming. It can be anything from like, make your bed, do your laundry, practice 4 hours, send 3 invoices, go to the gym. Like, it gets really overwhelming, buy bananas, gets really overwhelming really fast. So we want to pick 3 to 5 tasks that move the needle in the right direction. And this becomes an appointment in your diary every week. So you really just block the time on your calendar. You pick 3 tasks that have due dates and that are leaning towards the direction of your 12-month goal. By the way, if 12 months is too big for you to think about, which it often is for me, I'd like to work more in 3-month goals. And then plan when you're actually going to do them. Phase 5, we're going to protect our peace. So a weekly review ritual. Build the habit that keeps promises alive. How can you go over things once a week simply? Don't get sucked into details. Don't overthink it. Don't get overwhelmed. Just ask yourself, hey, did I work in my green zone at all this week? Did it happen? Yes or no? Did you block your time? How are your performance routines and rest days? Did you take a rest day? Do you know how to take a rest day? If you don't, call me. I can help you. I've had to learn this. And did you pick 3 to 5 tasks that actually meant that you moved in the right direction? This morning, I have to send my monthly newsletter. I had to log into my new distributor, and I had to review my upcoming gig sheet. And those are things that have been like spinning in my brain forever, and I haven't actually sat down and like written them out and got them done. I had a 1-hour focus session this morning with a friend in Fast Forward. That's another big thing that we do in the membership is we have these co-working sessions where you come on Zoom, you sit on mute, you have your 3 things you need to get done. You do them, nothing else, no distractions. And at the end, you're like, wow, this is like 1992 when I didn't get distracted by my phone and I could actually get work done focused way. That's why we call them focus sessions. We love them. They're part of the membership. So if you need that, come check it out. So these are the 5 questions that we talked about. Phase 1, shifting from I want to I am. Phase 2, work backwards and give yourself buffer time to be real. Phase 3, when is your best work happening during the day? When is your green zone? Phase 4, how do you show up every single day? 3 to 5 tasks that are important to get things moving. And 5, how do you protect your peace? How do you do a weekly ritual overview to make sure that you're working in the right direction? Remember that action leads to clarity. You don't need to do more. You need to choose better. Something that I have taken very personally is doing less, but better. As someone who always wanted to do more, I always wanted to do more. So a lot of you know I quit 2 faculty jobs last year because I wanted to focus on this podcast. I wanted to focus on building the membership and being present for my mastermind and, of course, being on stage. And already that's probably enough, right? So choose less, but choose better and build really well. We're building with intention. So just as a reminder for any of you listening, if you want to come check out a Fast Forward call, you can do so absolutely for free. First call is for free. What it is, group call, around 20, 25 people on there. We start by doing some brief introductions so that you can get to know other musicians who are entrepreneurial, who are promoting themselves, who are looking for concerts and pitching and doing all the things, the DIY entrepreneur. Although there are a lot of people in there who are also pursuing managers or other things like that. Like people are building business models basically across the spectrum. There's so much you can learn from watching how other people do things. Community, accountability, and support for musicians, goal setting, group discussion, encouragement, and feedback. It is a wonderful, healthy, non-toxic community. You set your goals, you get checked in with, you can meet other people who are pursuing similar goals. It's just a really wonderful place. So on a call, you'll meet some people. We'll have a group coaching question, just like how I did today on the podcast. Then there's group discussion. And then most of the time we break out into small groups of around 5 to 6 people. And then we can go deeper in the conversation. And yeah, these times are gold. I think they're so effective and heartwarming. And really, if you feel at all like you're missing community, accountability, or just support or questions that you have about how to do things on the marketing side, branding side, social media side, definitely check out Fast Forward. Just send me a DM that says Fast Forward and I'll get you all hooked up. So, vision and vibes. You don't need to push your whole life at once or have a perfect plan. You don't need to push harder. You just need to get clear on what you want and what matters to you this year. Again, if the year's too big, break it down into a few months. Get accountability and support in your life and surround yourself with other like-minded musicians. Be kind to yourself in this process of change and transformation. And I will just mention our mastermind again is invite only. It does cap at 10, but we have 1 spot open right now. So if you're looking to have a small group, one-on-one coaching per month, if you want to have a career strategy, branding, marketing, social media, we will teach you exactly how to do it. We've taught this across the board My faculty positions were on entrepreneurship, and we touched every single aspect of this. So we will help you discover your business model, your income streams, how much to post, what platforms you should be using, how to have a digital presence that is coherent and consistent, go through your website. Any aspect of your career will be touched in the mastermind, and you will be more effective. You will be clear on what it is that you're going after, and you'll be surrounded by a supportive community as well. That is a higher price point. We invite only because we really want to make sure that the group is conducive to each other as well. So if you're interested in that, just reach out, say mastermind, and we'll get you the details. Okay, that's it from me. I have to go coach one of my wonderful one-on-one clients. So I will see you guys on the next episode. And please share this with a friend. Send it to your top 3 musician friends. And you're like, hey, check out these questions. I think it can really help you to have some great perspective to start this new year. We love strategy. We love encouragement. So I hope that you feel that. Send me a DM and let me know what you thought of the episode. And please share it with a friend. That would mean so much as we get the message of being fearless out there. So we'll say, have a great week, guys, and be fearless. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Fearless Artist Podcast. If you found today's episode inspiring, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to share this podcast with a friend. To join our membership or one of our coaching programs, visit our website at thefearlessartistmastermind.com.
This episode was produced by Pokey Huang at PH Media Studios in New York City. We're Deanna and Michelle, encouraging you to create your own opportunities and to go after what you want. You have what it takes to build the career of your dreams. Until next time, be fearless.